Having a wonderful day. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I want to say welcome to the Black Financial Channel. And today we're going to talk about the 4 habits of rich people. We're going to talk about the 4 things that were revealed in a certain article that rich people do that other people do not do. So get comfortable, buckle up, seatbelt. We're going to get started in the Black Financial Channel right now. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. That's theblackfinancialchannel.com. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I'm your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel and also in the Black Business School, we believe in Black wealth. We believe in Black family. We also believe in helping our people to level up in every single way. We also adopt the B1 philosophy. B1 means Black first. Black first means we put our community at the top of our priority list. Black first means that economics is the key to freedom for our people. Black first means also that we educate our kids on economics so that we can break generational curses. We do not continue them. If you agree with this philosophy, put a hashtag B and the number 1 in the chat, hashtag B1. Let us know that you're Black first and that it's okay to love yourself, because ain't nobody going to love you if you don't love yourself. So I want to say hello to everybody on Instagram. You can follow the Black Financial Channel on Instagram. Also, Alvin Pleasant, Daryl F., Rochelle Harper. Shout out your city, Alicia Smith, Ahmed Hussein, Maurice out of Sarasota, Florida. Good to see you. Good morning, good morning, good morning. All right, so let me hop in here and start off by talking about the topic for today. The topic for today has to do with 4 habits that rich people have that the rest of the public does not. Now, this is not scientific. This is actually based on an article I read today on CNBC by a guy by the name of Tom Corley. So Tom Corley spent 5 years interviewing 225 millionaires, and he came up with some interesting conclusions on what millionaires do. And also at the end of this conversation, I'm going to give you my stock pick of the week and let you so hang on to the end of the video, and I will give you a stock that I really like that I'm buying right now. As we get started, I want to quickly acknowledge our financial Juneteenth shout out. Rebecca McLean. She runs a channel called the Women of Color Money and Legacy Channel. Rebecca McLean is an MBA, a PCC financial strategist. She talks money matters. She shares knowledge that empowers women of color to achieve financial literacy. So everybody go follow her channel. Her channel is called Women of Color and Legacy, and her name is Rebecca McLean. And I just wanted to give her today's shout out. And if you'd like to get a shout out on this channel, feel free to advertise. Just go to boycewatkins.com. If you're advertising your business or your brand or your platform, or you want to grow your situation, we have about 1 million subscribers on different platforms, and I can shout them out, shout your brand out to all these people. All right, so let me dig into this. All right, so how many of you want to be a millionaire? Give me a yes in the chat if you'd like to be a millionaire or you already are one. Give me a yes in the chat. How many future millionaires do we have? How many of you have kids that are going to be millionaires? Give me a yes in the chat if you have a vision for your family. If you have a dream, just like Dr. King, that your kids and grandkids are going to be doing well financially. Let's be intentional today. Everybody say yes in the chat if you want that for your family. And I have to say this because sometimes I think that we don't want the best for ourselves. I think sometimes we don't want the best for our kids. I've even seen strange situations where you have parents. I don't know if you've ever seen this, parents that are jealous of their kids. And I think that's so weird. Like, how are you jealous of your own offspring? And I think that there are people who really believe that being Black means you're supposed to suffer. They believe that being Black means you're supposed to be broke, always struggling, barely hanging on. You ever see that? You ever see people trying to compete with horror stories about growing up Black? Like they compete. Like, well, I grew up in the hood and I got shot twice before I was 18. Well, I didn't never have no food, and it was me and my single mama. She's working 18 jobs, and that we love to brag about our struggle. We love to it's almost like a badge of honor for some people. Well, you hear rappers talk about, it was hard coming up in the hood. It wasn't nothing to eat, and all we had was peanut butter sandwiches with no peanut butter. We like to talk about this. We like this idea of struggle as if somehow that makes us better and purer souls, or makes you more Black, or you ain't really Black if you ain't struggled. Like if you grew up without being severely traumatized, then you ain't really Black. You don't know what it's like to be Black. Why can't our kids grow up in nice, safe neighborhoods with healthy families and good opportunities and safety and security and all the things that kids are supposed to grow up with? So really, I'm going to just say this. I want you to want your kids to be wealthy. And I also want you to understand that it's not hard to do. If you go to boycewatkins.com, I have a free ebook. I'm giving it away for free. Over 1 million of you have downloaded it. I want 10 million of you to get it. And it's called the $5 a day investing plan. You can buy a copy on Amazon if you want a hard copy, but you don't have to pay. If you want a digital copy, I can send you that for nothing. So go to boycewatkins.com. It's the $5 a day investing plan. It shows you how you can invest $5 a day for your child and put them in a position where they are economically secure for the rest of their lives. Very easy to do. You just got to get started early. You can't wait until they're 20 years old. And when you're bailing them out of jail, trying to save them, you got to save them while they're young. You save them before the problem occurs. The best way to solve a problem is to avoid a problem. So do we understand? Give me a yes in the chat if you follow what I'm saying. So let me hop in here. In this article, I'm going to read some of it to you. Tom Corley says, in 2004, I set out to conduct a 5-year rich habits study to explore how the world's wealthiest people think about their money. Of the 225 millionaires I interviewed, they fell into 4 categories. He said the 4 categories are, and this is, I think this is where he's talking about the four types of rich people. Okay. So he mentions 4 types of rich people. Then he talks about 3 things that they do. So actually maybe the title is a little misleading in that regard. So there's 4 categories. He said there's the super savers. These are people that make saving and investing part of their daily routine. They are constantly thinking about smart ways to grow their wealth. 2, there are the company climbers. The company climbers work for a large company and devote all their time and energy to climbing the corporate ladder until they land a senior executive position with an extremely high salary. There are the virtuosos. They are among the best at what they do, and they're paid a premium for their knowledge and expertise. Formal education, such as advanced degrees in law or medicine, is usually a requirement. And then there are the dreamers. Individuals in this group are all in pursuit of a dream, such as starting their own business, becoming a successful actor, musician, or best-selling author. Dreamers love what they do for a living, and their passion shows up in their bank accounts. That, man, you know what? How many of you identify with one of those, at least one of those 4 categories? Give me a yes in the chat if you are either a a saver investor, a company climber, a virtuoso, or a dreamer. One of those 4 areas. Give me a yes in the chat, or type the one that you identify with. All right, so here's what I'm seeing, right? I identify with at least 3 of those categories. The company climber, I'm not a company climber because I don't want to work for anybody. But I used to want to be when I was 20 years old. I got this great internship with GE Aircraft Engines in Boston. And that was my first experience with corporate racism, with that glass ceiling that exists for Black people. This is why I'm a big advocate for the idea that Black men especially have to be real careful about going to the corporate plantation because I don't think the opportunities are there for you like they are for other people. I think that they view Black women differently from the way they view Black men. I think Black men, especially straight Black men, are more of a threat. So you're going to experience a lot more racism than other people. So corporate climber, I never wanted to be, but a saver investor. Saving, I do okay with. Investing, I love to invest. I'm really an investaholic. I used to be a spendaholic, but then I realized, wait a minute, I feel just as good when I invest my money as I do when I spend it. So I became an investaholic. So when I have money, I'm always broke. A lot of investors are always broke. And you look at my bank account, you'll say, boys, you lying. You ain't making no money. Your checking account ain't got hardly no money in it. Well, the reason that I don't keep a lot of money is because my money is always out there working for me. I've got money invested here and 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 here. Hundreds of shares, hundreds of different companies that I own as far as shares of stock and all that. I love investing. Investing is fun. And that's a habit that served me well. I think it's good to have healthy addictions, if you want to call it that. And investing is something that I just love to do. Virtuosos, they're among the best at what they do, and they're paid a high premium for their knowledge and expertise. I don't know if I'm a virtuoso in finance, but I can tell you what, I got my PhD in finance almost exactly 20 years ago. And so I knew a lot. I knew more than 99.9% of the population 20 years ago. And now I've got 20 years more knowledge on top of that. Literally what I know now, it dominates, quadruples what I knew when I finished my doctorate. And when I finished my doctorate, I was pretty smart. I've been teaching college students for a long time. So maybe I'm in that virtuoso category. I don't know. I don't want to brag about that, but I'm pretty good at what I do and I love it. And then there are the dreamers. These are people that want to pursue a dream, owning their own business, become a successful actor, musician, or best-selling author. I think everybody should be a dreamer, man. I don't know. Anybody else a dreamer? I think I dream. all the time. I have so many dreams. I've always had dreams. I have dreams of when our community, when our community becomes the dominant wealth builders throughout the world. I don't believe every single Black person is going to do it, to be honest with you. But I believe that those who really have it, who are on point, you're going to become like the Venus and the Serenas of wealth. Like, think about it. When we put our mind to something, we are so special. Like that melanin just gets to popping and you get to dominating and killing it and destroying everything in your path. And I just believe your kids and grandkids are going to do that. I believe that in the 50, 100 years, our kids are going to be like multi-billionaires. They're going to own major corporations. They're going to own tons of real estate. They're just going to lock it down. I really am convinced of this. I'm seeing it already. We have thousands of kids in our kids programs in the Black Business School, and these kids know more about wealth than most adults do, even at an early age. So make no mistake about it. We are on top of the game. Do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. And I want to give the next shout out. So I gave a shout out earlier to the sister Rebecca McLean, who runs the Women of Color Money and Legacy channel, which I hope everybody will go subscribe and look up Women of Color Money and Legacy. It's a great YouTube channel where they're talking about all kinds of things that women of color can learn when it comes to wealth, or Black women, whichever term you like to use. And then the second shout out is Sherman Ragland. Sherman Ragland is his website is realinvestors.com, and you can go to realinvestors.com/challenge-2s. That's an interesting URL. Sherman, you might want to get a better URL with that. That way people can really find you. But he says, are you looking to get started in real estate investing? Check out Sherman Ragland, a Wharton MBA. He's a Wharton MBA. That's pretty cool. He's mentored over 1,250 people on real estate, quick cash, cash flow, legacy, wealth. He has a special 21-day program starting now. Okay, so Sherman Ragland, that sounds pretty awesome. A Wharton MBA. It's hard to get an MBA from Wharton, by the way, so it's really tough. And by the way, if you want to get a shout out for your business, you can feel free to advertise on our platform by going to boycewatkins.com. The link is right there. All right, so so let me just finish up here. We were talking about the 4 types of people that become wealthy. They mentioned the saver investors, company climbers, virtuosos, and dreamers. Here are 3 things that they said that they do that's different from everybody else. Number 1, they automated and saved 20% of their net pay. So basically, this is consistent with what I told you guys about the $5 a day investing plan. People don't become rich quickly. They become rich slowly, typically. And I don't want you to fall for that false narrative that you see where somebody signs an NBA contract. Next thing you know, their whole life has changed overnight, or they win the Powerball and everything's better instantly. No, people that become wealthy tend to be people that have a consistent mission and objective. Almost like people who lose weight. You don't lose weight with one workout. You lose weight by making working out a habit for you. Right. So the question is, are you engaged in some sort of financial habit that's going to make you wealthy? If so, you're going to be okay. Number 2, they regularly invest a portion of their savings. So saving consistently is very important, but it is almost impossible in America to become wealthy without investing. If your money is not working for you, if your money's not growing while you sleep, if your money's not in a place where it's going to become, where it's going to bring back its friends, then you're probably not going to get wealthy in this country. That's just kind of how America works. So make sure you are investing consistently in addition to savings. They said because savers investors consistently invest their savings, their money compounded over time. When they started, this compound interest was not very significant. But after 10 years, they began to accumulate significant wealth. Toward the final years of their working lives, the savers investors' wealth grew to an average of 3.3 million. The millionaires who pursued a dream and started a business did not have the ability to invest their savings, particularly in the early stages of pursuing their dreams. Whatever savings they did have were used as working capital in order to fund their dream. Interesting, however, once most of these dreamer entrepreneurs achieved success in the form of available cash flow, they immediately pivoted and began to invest their savings. So what they're saying is that in the beginning, the entrepreneur, it sucks up all your money. Any other entrepreneurs know what I'm talking about, where you literally feel like all your cash is just being eaten up by this company. A small company that you start up is like a little hungry baby. A hungry baby eats up all the food. All they do is eat, sleep, and you know what. So they just pretty much suck up all the food. They don't really add a lot of value to your life, and you're kind of like, gosh, this baby's hard to take care of. But then the baby grows up. they hit a different stage in their maturity, and maybe that baby becomes someone that you can, if you have a farm, the baby can help you on the farm, or if you have other kids, the baby can help you babysit. I used to babysit for my mother, and my brother that I used to babysit now is actually one of the most important executives in my company, and he's helped me make millions of dollars over time. So ultimately, that investment in something small becomes a payback in something big, right? So companies have life cycles and stages, just like people do. And so a company starts off sucking up all your money. If you do it right, though, eventually you get into that stage, what they call the free cash flow stage, where you become a cash cow sort of company. You're not spending all your money on growth anymore. You're actually being able to pull cash out in the form of a dividend or whatever you want to do. And that allows you to take that money and pivot and start investing in other spaces. Okay. So that's what they're talking about. Number 3, they said they were extremely frugal. They said that one of the common denominators for saver investors, big company climbers, and virtuosos is that they were frugal. For these millionaires, frugality began the moment they received their first paycheck. For dreamer entrepreneurs, it started the moment their dream created enough cash flow to enable them to save and invest. Being frugal requires 3 things. 1, awareness, being aware of how you spend your money. 2, focusing on quality, spend your money on quality products and services. 3, bargain shopping, spending the least amount of money possible by shopping around for the lowest price. Now, let me just be clear. First and foremost, I got a confession to make. I'm not good in the frugality piece. I'm not gonna lie. I am. If I were a basketball team, I'd be like that team that doesn't play the best defense, but their offense is so good that they outscore the other team. Right. So I might give away, my basketball. If I were a basketball team, I might give away 110 points a game, but I'm going to score 130 points a game. So I still win every game by 20. Right. So I'm like if you remember basketball, one of the best teams ever was the Las Vegas UNLV team back in the early 90s. Anybody remember that? Where they used to do that? They used to let the other team score 100 points, but then they scored like 130. I've always been kind of like that. So I've always spent a lot, but I've always made more than I spent, right? Because I learned a long time ago that when you want to get in alignment with your budget, you don't always have to cut costs. You can actually increase your revenue. You can go find other ways to make money, find side hustles, make investments, do all these other things. However, that frugality piece is really interesting because one of the things you have to be cautious about is the impact that culture has on your economic situation. Let me ask you this. Give me a yes or no. Do rappers who have a huge first of all, let's ask 2 questions. I'm connected. I want everybody to answer. 1, do you think rappers have some impact on the way Black people think? Are rappers influential in the Black community? Give me a yes or no. Are rappers influential in the Black community? Somebody type yes in the chat or no if you think rappers have no influence and young people don't listen to rappers and they don't pay attention to anything. Rappers they are really any entertainers. Okay. Yes. Okay. I see yeses. Derek and Beth and Denise. Okay. We're on the same page. Good. All right. Thank you, Mona. Okay. So I'm going to ask the second question. Do rappers tend to promote a culture of frugality that leads to wealth? Yes or no? When rappers are influencing people, remember, rappers were the first social media influencers even before there was social media. Do rappers promote frugality? Do they promote cautious and careful spending? Do they promote retaining your wealth? Do they promote protecting your resources when they're influencing our people on what to do with their money? No, the answer is no. They're doing this. The whole video, making it rain. Gucci this, Prada that, Louis this, went to the club, bought the bar, put $100,000 in a stripper thong, which that just sounds nasty. But really, that's what it is. That's that culture that's out there, right? And I really need you to understand how the culture affects the fact that so many people stay broke. I watched this BET. Remember BET? Y'all know me. I got to always tell the truth about this stuff. We all know BET is not owned by Black people, which makes it very dangerous that they shape so much Black culture. They had a segment of a show called Blew the Bag. And what they did was they would tell stories about people, Black people mostly, they were all Black, I think, who got a bunch of money and blew the bag. And so I watched this episode that it was very serious, but I think people just laughed about it. They didn't understand what this really, really meant. So there was a guy on there who had like 2-3 kids with some babies' mamas and everything. And he won the lotto or something. He won like, a few $100,000. And he said that he blew the bag because he took all the money. He had a big party in Vegas. He bought up every room on the floor, on that floor, and had strippers and liquor, and literally spent like $500,000 in a couple of weeks. And he was sitting there laughing about the fact that the guy gave him this opportunity to rise out of his situation, and he chose to go right back into poverty. Now, what that made me think about was that saying that that poor stands for passing over opportunities repeatedly. Passing over opportunities repeatedly. So here, this brother, pay attention now. He had an opportunity to get out of poverty, but he didn't want to get out of poverty. He wanted to stay broke. He wanted to go right back to where he started from. And this really was a great example of something my grandmother used to talk about, is that your actions and behaviors tell the universe where you really want to be. You know, if you take a guy that really is used to being in jail all the time, and you let him out and give him opportunities, some of those guys will go right back to jail because that's where they're comfortable. Or you take somebody out of the hood, you give them some opportunity, you give them some money, put some money in their pocket, clean them up, put them in a good situation. Some people will go right back to the hood. But why? Well, why is that? Well, because of maybe the way they respond to the world, the culture that they've sort of embraced, the culture they've internalized. Now, I'm not saying hood culture is bad. I'm not saying that being poor makes you a terrible person, because that would make me terrible because I was born poor. But I will say that I know one difference in our household growing up was that my parents were real big on mentality and choices and accountability and a lot of things that were very different from my friends. I can't think of one single friend I used to play with when I was a little boy who ended up in a good situation growing up. Every single it's about 6 guys, cousins on different sides of the family, cousins and play cousins, and I literally could not think of. There was a lot of drugs, a lot of just tough, bad situations, and I was sort of reverse engineered that, and I said, what was the difference in our household? I said, oh, I get it. It was accountability. You know, it wasn't like we were making straight A's and we were lily white wonderful kids or anything. I mean, we were, we messed up like everybody else, but there was something about the accountability piece that is different from what you see in terms of our community sometimes, where there are people who will make an excuse for anything. You know, the mother who has the son who has 8 babies mamas never holds him accountable for all the babies mamas. You know, never says like you need to be a man and take care of all them damn kids instead of populating the earth and not handling your responsibility. So ultimately we got to understand the importance of culture on these things, and just sort of realize that millionaires don't go blow the bag. Millionaires are not people that consistently throw away opportunities. Millionaires are not people that look for ways to give their money away at every available chance. It doesn't mean they don't have nice stuff. It doesn't mean they can't buy luxury cars. I will confess, I have a nice car. My wife has a nice car too. But the difference is just priorities. You know, we don't buy the nice car before we make the nice investment. We don't take the nice vacation before we're putting in a nice amount of extra work to build toward whatever we're trying to accomplish. We don't go spend money on nonsense before we spend money on the things that really matter in our lives. So that is really what they're saying, is it's about prioritizing. Doesn't mean taking all those things out of your life. It just means making sure your priorities are right. All right. So anyway, with that said, I told you guys I would give you my stock pick of the week. And I'm going to do that in 1 second. Just hold on. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe. And I want to give reiterate my shout out earlier. Sherman Ragland. If you go to realinvestors.com/challenge-2S, that's I'm gonna put the link in the bio. That way we can see it there. He's basically saying that if you want to get into real estate investing, you can check out Sherman, who's a Wharton MBA, who's mentored over 1,250 people on real estate, quick cash, cash flow, legacy wealth, etc. He has a 21-day program, and I encourage you guys to go check that out. And this brother, I don't know much about his business directly. I just know that he did request a shout out. And if you'd like a shout out on your business, that is, you can advertise on the platform by going to boycewatkins.com. And the other shout out is Rebecca McLean. Rebecca runs the Women of Color Money and Legacy channel, and she's also an MBA, and she talks money matters and things like that. This is a smart sister, and the key thing that's really interesting about this is that we have so many smart people in our community. I personally believe that one area where we can actually build $1 trillion or more in Black wealth is by doing what I call the great redirect. The great redirect means redirecting our resources to where, if I want my kid to really learn about economics, I'm not going to send them necessarily to Iowa State University or some university that's run by people outside of my community where I give them $250,000 of my Black wealth. There are smart Black people right here in your community. A lot of them are teaching things online. There are so many brilliant people. We work with Julian Gordon, who's the dean of our real estate school in the Black Business School. And Julian can get you into a multifamily house faster than a lot of the real estate professors on college campuses. So these are the kinds of people that I'm encouraging my kids to learn from, not just from the university, but also remember that there are Black people who understand the Black experience. They can help you get there faster. And I really want to see these people get more attention than the ignorance, right? They tend to highlight the ignorance in our community. I don't want to see that. I want them to highlight the intelligence. So my stock pick of the week is actually Amazon. Based on my research, I have reason to believe that Amazon has hit pretty close to, if not totally hit a bottom in their stock price. And once the economy starts to improve and the market starts to improve and the Fed starts to slow down quantitative tightening, I have the expectation that Amazon is going to be a banger as far as stocks, and it's going to really do an amazing job in terms of making money. And by the way, if you want to join us in stock market investing class, you can go to boycewatkins.com and do a free trial in my class. We do stocks on Tuesday, Powernomics on Wednesday, and stock options on Thursday. Those are different spaces you can join us in the Black Business School. Plus, we have a lot of other stuff going on, crypto and everything else. So everybody, please have a wonderful day. God bless you. It was real. It was great hanging out with you. And I will see you all soon. So take care. Bye-bye.